Where we ended last was that we were talking about human design, what it is and how it can help us understand ourselves better.
Yes.
And I think where it makes sense for us to talk about next is, so how do you use that information?
Love it.
Not just in helping yourself move forward, but in understanding our relationships, our leadership, and the systems in which we navigate
Mhm.
better as a result of understanding our design. So, in our last episode, we talked about the fact that I'm a 5-1
Okay.
profile and
Mhm.
you're a 3-1.
A 3-1.
Well, you're actually a 1-3, but it doesn't matter. You have a 1 and a 3 in your profile, and I have a 5 and a 1 in my profile. There's a reason that the numbers are the way that they are, but we're not gonna get into that. That's, like, not really helpful. Um, well,
Okay.
it's not helpful. It
For this
is helpful,
discussion.
but it's not helpful for this discussion, right?
Got it. Okay.
Um, so a 3 is an experimenter,
Okay.
and you approach everything through an experimentation. You try something, you see what doesn't work, you see what does work, you refine. You're constantly refining. And so you know that that's your process
Right.
and that you are not expecting perfection the first time around.
Okay.
Now, maybe you are expecting perfection, but you understand that there is an iterative and refinement process to the way that you work, correct?
Yes. I agree with that.
So now that you know that, how might you approach a situation in a job interview where
Mhm.
you're trying to figure out whether that is helpful or not?
Oh, interesting. In a job interview, if a question came up about it, I would explain that that was my process because if that's not the person they need in that role, then better for them to know I'm not exactly the fit and better for me not to put myself in a situation where I better turn in the first perfect report by the deadline instead of I'll get it to you a day early. You can look at it and tell me if there's anything that you don't like about it. Um, and in an interview, it might be good to understand what the process is. So if you're specifically meeting with the hiring manager, how do they like to work together? What are their processes? What are their expectations of somebody that could be successful in this role? And understanding that would be good information as a job seeker to have. Mhm.
And let's fast forward, you have the job, you and your boss are having uh, tension
Okay.
tension around the way your work style, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
How could you use this? I'm a refiner, I'm an experimenter. How could you use this knowledge around probing around that tension?
Mm. I would ask questions about expectations. What is it that you expect? What is it that you would like to see happen? What is it that is currently not a match for my style versus what you need or what you expect? So I would ask more questions about their preferences. And so I could understand, am I gonna be even able to meet these expectations? Or are they gonna need someone else? Or can I, if they're not unreasonably completely opposite from my own, how can I use my refinement tendencies to make it work so that I can operate within this system? Because maybe I do like the work. Maybe I do like my boss a lot. But there's just tension around this one particular issue. And that happens a lot of times for a lot of people.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. And, we've been focused on this one particular aspect of human design, which is the profile. But
Right.
human design has a lot of different aspects. right?
Sure does,
So,
yeah.
one of the things and I'm pulling up your design while we're talking. Is it okay if I share some things?
Yes, and I need my new design, now that you really know when I was born.
Well, that's a good point. I may not have the new one.
Do you still have the old one?
I do still have the old one, but I think maybe while I get myself put together over here, maybe we can just talk in generalities. So, I have some friends who are projectors. You
Yes,
and I are
this
not
no, no,
projectors.
no, I'm a generator.
Yes,
Mhm,
I'm a
yes.
generator too.
And
But
there goes that multiple ideas, that refinement aspect. I don't know, generators are
you're
your
thinking of, manifesting generators.
oh, yeah, no, I'm not a manifesting generator. No. So we're not talking about manifesting generators. If you are more well acquainted with human design than I am, but maybe not as much as Sandra, you would know that there's a difference. So let's back up. What are the 4 types of people that you could
There's
be?
actually 5.
There's 5. Okay, so what are those 5 types?
So, there are generators,
Mhm.
there are manifestors, there are projectors, there are reflector, and then there's a type that is a combination of the 2 other types, the manifestor and the generator. So, they're called manifesting generators. I can get into the weeds about how to figure out if you're one or the other. What the I don't think that's the purpose of our conversation, but I think the really most important part of understanding is that how we know whether we're in alignment or out of alignment is type dependent.
Okay.
So, for, generators, like you and I are, Annette, when you're doing something that you don't really wanna be doing, what's the feeling that you get?
Ugh, that's the feeling.
Yeah, and if you were to yeah, me too, and if
Mhm.
you were to use an adjective, what would it
Gosh,
be?
I knew you were gonna ask me that.
Or a verb?
Uh, I would say that it's draining and overwhelming.
Frustrating?
I don't know if it's frustrating because I personally will just drop it. If it's that overwhelming, I'm just gonna drop it. I'll come back to it. Only if it really has to be done. If I can get somebody else to do it for me or with me, I might get it done a little faster.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so I tend to look like a procrastinator to a lot of
Yes,
people
yes.
because it is something that's out of alignment and I just don't wanna do it, and I'm not gonna do it till I'm against the deadline.
Hello, generator.
So nice to be here.
I'm I I say that because, wow, how does understanding that about yourself help you?
I have to set a clock, a timer, and I have to close everything down to minimize distractions, and I have to get it done because it needs to be done, and I can't procrastinate it any longer. Yeah.
And when you're looking for things as an entrepreneur to offload, what are you going to be looking to offload?
Those things that make me feel like I'm losing my mind. Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely. And
Mhm.
so one of the challenges that generators have, of course, is that other people want them to do those things because they're good at them. They've always done them.
Mhm.
You've
Especially
always
the always done them, yeah.
you've always been the person to plan the party, Annette.
Mhm, right.
You're always the person who contacts the vet. You're always the person who sends out that reminder email.
Mhm.
You're always the person who puts that spreadsheet together for us. And it might have been fun and exciting at the beginning.
The first time.
Mhm.
Yeah,
But
because it was novel, and now it's not.
and now it's not, and I just wanna
Mhm.
get rid of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, that's what we're talking about in terms of understanding, right? So for manifestors, it's anger. When you feel yourself getting angry as a manifestor,
Mhm.
that's your cue that something is going on that is making you, uh, behave in a way that is out of alignment for yourself.
Okay.
For projectors, it's the same, situation, but their signature feeling is bitterness. Ugh,
Mm.
I can't believe they're doing that. I told them not to do it that way 17 different times, 17 different ways. Why don't people listen to
Listen
me?
to me.
I'm Yeah. I always have a great idea, and no one's paying attention to me. Yeah.
Mm.
And
They know somebody. I'm gonna have to have you run their chart. Go ahead.
okay. So, one of the styles that I think benefits most from understanding their design are projectors for
Mm.
2 reasons. One, we talked about the fact that there are lots of different aspects about human design that have nothing to do with profile, right?
Right. Right, right,
So
right.
projectors are non-sacral beings, and what that means is are non-energy beings. So the sacral center is our source of life force energy. So generators have a ton of life force energy. We're like little generators. We go, 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 right?
Mhm.
But specifically, we go, go, go on the things that are exciting to us, the things that
Yes.
bring us joy and pleasure, and that's what we're here to do. With projectors and manifestors, they are not. So they tend to run out of energy a lot faster. They can borrow energy from generators when they're around generators, and trust me, there are a lot of generators.
Yes.
70% of the world is a generator or a manifesting generator with this unlimited source of energy. And guess what? When you don't have an unlimited source of energy, what happens? Well, everybody else is going and going and going and going, and I'm exhausted.
Mm.
And what's the conditioning that you can carry? I'm not
That
as
I'm
dedicated.
lazy.
Yes, I'm not as dedicated,
Mhm.
right? Um, yeah, so all of those things. And, we work in a system where you show up at 9 o'clock in the morning and you work until 6. That's
Mhm.
your 8-hour day. But when you're a projector, you can get twice the amount of work done in 5 hours than, say, a generator takes to do it in 9. But
Mhm.
you have to spend those 9 hours there, not this is the work that you need to get done.
Mhm.
And so you feel drained, you feel exhausted. And so one of the reasons that I think, um, projectors, benefit the most from understanding their design is so that they can let go of that other people's crap business about, "I have to show up and do 8 hours worth of work to feel validated," because projectors are not here to trade time for money. They're here to trade, their knowledge for money.
Mm.
And so part of the challenge that happens to projectors is that they see things that other people don't. And because they see things that other people don't, they want to share information.
Mhm.
But when you go to somebody and share that information and that information was not requested or invited or valued,
Mm.
what happens?
Yeah.
They're going to say, "Go away."
Mm. Yeah,
And
or
you're
they're
gonna
gonna ask you why you're in my business.
Yeah, and if they're polite, they're going to say, "Thanks," and then just do the exact opposite, right?
Mm.
And then what's the feeling that you get?
As a projector, I would imagine, I get the feeling that, oh, maybe I don't have something good to share with the world.
Mm, yeah, yeah.
Mm,
And the signature theme is, I told them, and they didn't listen to me.
mhm.
Why didn't they listen to me?
'Cause they couldn't hear you, they weren't ready.
Yeah.
Mhm. They didn't invite you in.
Yes.
Mhm.
Oh, I love that you use that word. See, you've been hanging out with me too
I
long.
have, I've been hanging out with you, that was total Sandra regurgitation right there.
Yeah. Projectors need to be invited. And so
Mhm.
this is how I think that when you understand those things about yourself, especially as a projector, I'm not meant to work a 9-hour day. I'm not meant to share my knowledge unless somebody energetically invites me or
Yeah,
like directly invites me,
yeah.
right? Conserve your energy, right? Show your expertise as opposed to waiting to be recognized. Right?
Mm,
Those are all valuable insights that can come from learning about this, and so it's helpful, I think, when you're going into a job interview
mhm.
or as a leader, right? You understand this information.
Yes.
This is where I get a little uncomfortable because I think sometimes if leaders understand this information, it can be used for ill, right?
Um, well,
But
I mean, here's the thing, as a leader, you're gonna spend whatever, 8, 9 hours with your team every day anyways. Is there a tool that would help you understand them? It's like any other tool, right? Is it like the Myers-Briggs type indicator? Is it like the DISC assessment, right? Once and those are definitely pieces that give you insight into who you are, um, and your preferences and how you react to obligations. But this is a tool all about you, not this brief little piece of how do you like to communicate? Yeah,
but it can be helpful.
so helpful.
Right, so I meant it can be helpful in creating those tools. So, for example, we were talking
Correct.
about the personal user manual, right?
Yeah.
That
Oh, yeah.
tool that you taught me about that I think is just brilliant, right? If you
Right.
know that you're a projector and you know that you see things that other people may miss, and you know that you have to request an invitation,
Be clear about that.
that would be great to put into your personal user manual.
Absolutely. Yeah. And when you're taking the DISC assessment and they talk about this is how you deal with conflict, you're like, oh, yeah, I see that now combined with my human design. That makes perfect sense for me. Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Or I'm in a system that doesn't like direct confrontation.
Yes. Even though that's maybe your preferred type.
"Hello, Sandra."
So, okay, now you know that, you know what you do, you know what the system requires. Can you learn to operate within the system, or is that system such a bad place for you that you opt out?
Oh, that's such a good story. Or
Yeah,
that's such a good question because it leads to this conversation about stories, right?
yeah, right.
People are now carrying stories about me. She's so direct.
Yes. I think that's a great time to evaluate what you need going forward. Because it's so funny. I just talked about this on my this article that I wrote. When you don't get promoted, we've got lots of stories going on in our head about ourselves after we don't get promoted. But one of the things I asked people to do is to sit down and evaluate what happened. What would I do different next time? See if there's any way that they can get feedback. But the other question was, can you even get promoted in this current environment, in this current organization? I think that's a huge question you have to ask. And I think that's a self reflection question because I don't know that anybody in the organization is going to be completely honest with you. But the other piece that I didn't ask that you're asking right now is the system here able to promote me, able for me to stay in and even do this existing job? Or is
Or
the system too
yeah,
overwhelming for me or too wrong for me?
yes. Am I a bad fit? Because I'm going to challenge the
Yes.
system because that's who I am.
Yes. And not you're a bad person. Let's
Right.
rewind. You're a bad fit. And
Yes,
again, not a bad fit. I don't know, like my clothes don't fit well, like not that kind of fit, but like, are you a cultural fit
correct.
for this organization? It's not anything about you personally. It's saying you weren't designed to fit
Right.
into this system, this team, this role, this set of expectations. It's okay to realize that and make another plan for yourself.
Yes. Yes, yes,
Mhm,
yes.
mhm.
Just like, right? Oh, I think I need to be an entrepreneur, and that
Yes.
requires a different set of skills than I have in a role where I'm leading inside of a cultural organization. And maybe the skills that I need as an entrepreneur, right, are not the way I'm designed.
Mm, knowing that too would be so helpful.
Right. So
Right.
is it a personal failure?
No.
Right. I think that's where a lot of entrepreneurs get into trouble. "Oh, I tried this. It didn't work. I must not be a good, um"
Person.
no, well, I must not be good at running a business, and that may
Oh,
not be true at all.
correct.
Right. Or I got promoted, and then
Mm,
I realized that I can't do this role.
yes. And
And then
Sandra, I think that's a huge question because leadership is so different than being an individual contributor.
oh my gosh.
And
Yes.
I see that all of the time. They just didn't evaluate what they were good at versus taking on. And then also I think that's a failure of many systems, hiring systems, because often the person that can do the job the best gets promoted to manager. And just because technically, tactically, you can do the requirements of a role the best doesn't mean you'll be the best leader. So they were evaluating the wrong thing that placed you there anyways.
Yes. And I would also add, right, that once we get moved up a level, we are now dealing with things that our boss was dealing with before. And so
Yes.
where the culture may not have been a problem for me as an individual contributor,
Mhm.
it is now a problem for me because as a leader, I'm expected to behave in a particular way, and I now need to manage parts of the culture that I was not managing before, and those aren't aligned for me, and we rarely ever look at how do we do that? How do
Correct.
we evaluate the culture? How do we see behind the veil that our manager may not be revealing to us?
Yeah.
And then how do we evaluate, can I effectively manage in this environment? And I think so I wanna step back from where our conversation has been going for a moment and say, we can do anything for a short period of time.
Absolutely. Yes.
So the question is not, "Can I manage this?"
Mhm.
Do I want to? Number 1. And how long can I manage this effectively?
Mhm.
And
Right.
what is the cost to me to manage it?
That's the biggest question.
Yes.
How
And
are
I
you
think
paying for this managing it? Are you paying for it with your energy? Are you paying for it with your time? Are you paying for it because you're very off center and off balance? You're spending all these hours in the office instead of at home. Do you have to go into the office instead of working remotely because you need access to whatever people, places, tools? Mhm. Mhm. And then those answers should fuel, what can I do about it? What can I change? What's next?
and I love where you're going with this because I don't think we do it often enough, and there's an aspect of it that is, what are the stories people are going to make up about me if I
Mm,
don't follow through? What
Oh,
are the stories that people are going to say about me when, I resign from this position or when I get re-demoted?
it's a good question, Sandra. I don't know that we can have any expectation that anybody will never make a story up about us. So I'm going to say, can you manage to live with whatever those stories are because you know the truth?
Oh, so powerful. Because back to what we said a couple of episodes ago
Yeah.
is that, being a leader means making decisions without
All
all
the
the information.
information. Yes.
And those decisions are things that you're gonna get judged on, and people are going to have stories about. And can you live
Yes.
with those things? Because, you did the best you could in the situation that you were trying to navigate with
Great.
the knowledge that you had at that period of time. Once we know better, we do better,
Mhm.
right? It's kinda like your line 3 that we keep talking about. You're a refiner and experimenter, but through that experimentation come lessons, and you can now, approach a situation differently than, say, you did 10 years ago.
Mhm.
But it's because you had those learning moments in between. One of the things that I think women really struggle with is forgiveness. Or maybe it's something I really struggle with, and therefore I attribute it to women in particular. But how
It's
do you
probably fair to say it's multiple people, multiple struggles. Go ahead.
and when I say forgiveness, I'm not talking about forgiving others. I'm talking about forgiving self.
Mm,
How can you extend grace to yourself and forgive yourself for those things that you did wrong?
maybe we can even adjust that story. Maybe they weren't things that you did wrong. I think we're at the same place that you just said. We were doing what we had to in the moment with the information we had available.
That is part of the forgiveness process,
Yeah.
is recognizing, right, that the reason I know differently now is
Mhm.
because I did what I did then,
Yes, it
and
was
that
a
that was part
tinker.
of yeah.
It was a refinement.
Yes. Yes, yes. And knowing what I know, what did that part of
Mhm.
me back then need to understand?
Mhm. Yeah.
And can I release the story that I've built around being good or bad and simply
Mhm.
say, "That was an earlier iteration of myself."
Yes. Oh, that is a beautiful, beautiful story to practice.
Yeah. And
Mhm.
and and one of the things that, we always talk about is put your oxygen mask on first, right?
Yes.
You
Yes.
can't give from an empty cup.
Mhm.
Yeah, you can't extend grace and forgiveness to others if you're not willing to do it to yourself
Yeah.
first.
Mhm.
So, how can you extend grace and forgiveness for self?
Mhm.
Because the more you can love yourself, the more you can love other. That's a lesson that I have learned through this whole process for myself, and it's taken a long time to understand that if I don't love myself, then I will carry that story, and it will taint every relationship, every interaction. And so it has to start with self first. I have to love myself. I have to forgive myself. I have to be willing to look at those earlier versions of me
Yeah.
and grieve, rejoice,
Mhm.
honor.
Annette, I'm gonna add, say thank you. You
Yeah,
have to have gratitude for the person that did those things because that's part of the reason you're here today.
so important. And we forget that. So,
We do.
we begin here because what we really wanna talk about is those stories we tell about other people.
Mhm.
And when we can really look at our own stories with a genuine compassion, then we can start to look at the stories we've built about other people with compassion as well.
Mhm. Yes. Yes. Wow. I kind of feel like that's that. I think we put it all on the table, Sandra.
I think we're finally ready to talk about the stories we tell about others.
I think we are finally ready. So we can do that next time. How does that sound?
I think that would be fabuloso.
Fabuloso. Is that a new word? Did you just make a new word? Do we have to trademark that? We'll work on it.
Okay.
I mean, I'd let you do the research and then I'll just take a crack at the paperwork if you want. And on that note, I think that we will see you next time. And in the meantime, if you want to stay connected with Sandra and I, then please head over to exploringthehiddenreality.com, where we give you lots of communication, we'll say, about what's happening behind the scenes and who we are, what we do, and maybe how we can connect further. All right, we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.